Hello everybody, I thought I would mix things up today and talk about comic books. I'm not a huge comic book reader. I like comic books, but don't like reading. But, I'm going to start off with, these are all horror based. So you get Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. This is part 2, I guess. Not the same as the other ones. Yeah, I'm missing the last issue on this. The basic story in this is Freddy has taken over the White House and Jason is working for him, and then you got Ash, of course, trying to stop it. It's an okay read. There's some kind of flashback stuff, plenty of gore if you're into that. Hopefully you can see this. I need to find the last issue so I can finish it, but overall, it was pretty decent. These next 4 are Shaun of the Dead, but it's actually just basically shot-for-shot retelling of the movie, which I was a little bummed about, but at the same time, it's pretty awesome to have. I'll show you one of the panels in there. I mean, if you like the movie, then obviously you would have liked the comic. And you get them pretending to be zombies. This next one's a one-shot of Halloween. This one was a little strange. It's like a bunch of short stories, I guess. That's the best way to explain it. Some of them were confusing. It was alright. This next group are Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This was a 3-shot called Raising Cain. The basic story in this one was there was twins and they were separated. One was like adopted and raised by normal people, so to speak, and the other one was raised by the crazy family. And the one raised normally keeps getting flashes of images of bad stuff, and he ends up going out and trying to figure out why he has these visions, and he ends up discovering why, and I can't remember I think he kills his brother, and then the family kills him while he's trying to escape with twins, and then it kind of just starts again where he dies and floats down the river with one of the babies, and the family gets the other baby, and then some other people find the other baby, kind of just setting up the same scenario again. It's alright. The art in this one's kind of weird. It's kind of like watercolor. Didn't really care for the art. This is a 6-shot that came out in 07. Basically takes place after the movie, the remake movie. So you have, that fat girl in the trailer and that little boy. I like this one. So you'll also see that he has a hook for a hand as well. For the cover, he has no hand. Basically, some news reporters come in and shit goes down. Here's her fighting him in the back of the trailer, and then she chainsaws the driver. And escapes. Overall, this one has the art's kind of dirty, but it actually works. These last ones are my Friday the 13th ones. You get the two shot of Jason versus Jason X. I forget. I'm sure they explain why Jason is fighting himself. It's very confusing. They're in space. They're fighting each other. And then, of course, random people get in the way with, of course, you get your nakedness and your gore. And they just kind of randomly get in the way. And then, in the end, Jason X kills Jason, rips his head off, pulls a chunk of Jason's brain out, shoves it into his head, which I assume means he gets his memories, which I don't know why he wouldn't have them already. And then there's just the shot of Jason X on Earth. Was overall kind of confusing. Wasn't that amazing. You get the one shot of the abused, the abuser and the abused. This one kind of starts off following this girl. Everyone's mean to her, and she kind of starts killing them. And then she starts like seducing bad guys and killing them off. And then in the end, Jason doesn't give a shit because she's like, we're alike, you know, I'm like you. And then he's like, who gives a fuck? He doesn't actually say that, but here's him dragging off what's left of her. I don't know if you can tell, but it has kind of a newspaper type thing over top of the art. I don't know, I didn't really care for it. And then you have the 07 6-shot Friday the 13th, which is in the same vein as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. I love the art in this one. Fantastic. The writing, not so much. It's a lot of swears and, you know, nude girls popping up. This is probably my favorite cover. Basic story is the camp's getting reopened, and everyone plays. The guy opening it knows about everything that happened. He's even gonna sell shirts that say "I survived Camp Blood" and things like that. So then you got your random ragtag team of strangers who are probably in their 20s. You got your two stoners. And then they basically are hired to get the camp ready, and I believe the camp counselors. They all kind of have their backstories, which is really not that important unless you're into that. One is like a guy and his girlfriend are there, and the guy brings his friend, but then in reality they're actually gay together, and she finds out. It kind of ends up with one of the girls surviving. She's in the hospital, and there's a cop hoping she'll wake up so he can talk to her. And Jason shows up. The cop shoots Jason, and he's like, he's dead. And then, of course, Jason cuts off his hand. He ends up murdering everyone in the hospital. Murders the girl that survived. And then it's like 6 weeks later, these people want to buy the camp. And then he, of course, kills them. I enjoyed it. It's not really mind-blowing. It's your pretty cookie cutter Friday the 13th by now. The only thing that was kind of interesting was they were trying to explain why he's, superhuman, all this. So they kind of hint at there was like a bunch of Native Americans murdered and all their bodies are dumped in the lake. And they decided they needed to kill the shaman of the tribe. They slit his throat, and then he, seemingly never-ending stream of blood, added another quarter-mile to the circumference of the Crystal Lake that night. And it said that not a soul who witnessed this horrifying event was left alive. So apparently he, can't really show you that page, there's titties on it. But they kill a bunch of Native Americans, they slit the shaman's throat, he bleeds enough to make the lake larger, and that's kind of how they're saying Jason got his powers when he drowned there. And they kind of hint that there's even a picture of a house on fire that's next to the lake, like anything near and around the woods in the lake dies. I don't know. So then comes 2008 comes Badland. It's a two-parter. The basic idea here is kind of telling of the lake. They don't really mention the shaman in this one, but it flashes back between current time and older time. I think it said 1850. Basically, some people were caught in a storm and they make their way to a cabin. And the same thing happens back then. Some people make their way to a hut. Inside is a female Native American and her baby. And, of course, they decide to rape her. And then one of them starts fighting with the other one and shoots a gun and ends up shooting her. And then the husband shows up. And he's not happy about it. So he starts killing them off. And it kind of flashes back and forth between Jason killing and the Native American killing. And it kind of ends, hopefully you can see this panel. You got the top one is Jason with the fine little girl he killed walking into the lake. And the bottom is the Native American carrying his dead wife into the lake. And here's shot by shot with them. Let's see if I can get that. Them hanging out in the lake, dead. So, it kind of hints on what was in the other one with the whole Native American thing. So, I wasn't sure I can't remember if this was a setup before everyone went and killed all the, like this happened and then they came in and killed the rest of the Native Americans and the shaman, or exactly what's going on. It was kind of confusing. The way it bounced back and forth, and kind of interesting. They're trying to put, a reason why there's supernatural and why he's seems to be never dying. I don't know if it really played out that well. It's still an interesting read. And the last one is not really based on actually any movies. It's Lobo, Highway to Hell. It's a pretty thick two-parter. It's pretty funny. It's full of swearing, and it's actually written by Scott Ian from Anthrax, and I enjoy myself some Scott Ian every now and then. Basic idea is that I really don't know much about Lobo. He's been appearing in different comics for a while now. The basic idea is he ends up in hell and he doesn't want to be there. So his journey is trying to find Satan, or Dark Lord. I forget what they call him. He gets there, it's like a little girl, but I guess he can turn into anything he wants. Excuse me. So it was interesting. It's kind of just a blind buy jump in. you don't really need to know any backstory on Lobo to actually enjoy it. So, thanks for watching. Those are my horror comics. I don't think I have any more, but I have probably like 100 stacks of comics I bought from different thrift and antique shops that I just haven't got around to reading. I'll try to do that someday, and maybe I'll come back with another comic book update for you. Thanks for watching.